Hello, fictional. Welcome to the What If Issei. Today we are gonna see what if Issei dies to Samael's curse. Part 1. If you end up liking this video, please consider subscribe, so without further ado, let's get into the video. Issei felt himself floating on a white space unable to move after suffering from Samael's curse and passing out. He didn't have any idea if he was in the dimensional gap or another place entirely. Issei. Where am I? He tries to look around unable to find anything, but something felt weird to him. He couldn't put it into words, but he felt lighter than before, not because he was floating, but something about him made him feel uncomfortable. Suddenly a voice, most likely female, spoke to him, but the voice felt like it was coming from all the place at once. Voice. Finally awake, I see. To think a soul was able to bypass me, a tremendous feat indeed. Issei. Huh. Who are you? Where am I? I remember fighting in the dimensional gap, getting Samael's curse from that bastard Shalba, but then I can't remember. Voice. Shush my dear, don't waste your breath. I'm Sophia, the goddess of rebirth, and you're on my realm, which means that you're dead swimming on the current of souls until you fell off, and after a while I caught you. Issei. Surprise, dead, but that can't be. I made a promise to Rias to forever be by her side. But then he paused and started to understand the situation. Samael's curse. It killed me. Sophia-sama, can you send me back? There are things I still need to do. I can't die here. Sophia. I'm afraid I can't. Once a soul is sent to the current of the dead, it cannot return. But now I must perform my duties as a goddess and send you to the stream of rebirth so you can be born again, but before I do it, I need to erase all your memories from this current life so you can begin anew. Issei. I don't want a new life. I want my current one. People still need me. Sophia. I'm a galaxy goddess, I do not care about the problems of mortals. Now let us begin the process. Green light starts to float around Issei. Issei. Wait. Listen to me. Drag. Boost. Nothing happened. What drag? What's wrong? Balance break. Nothing happened. Why isn't working? Sophia. You cannot use your powers here because you have no body. There is no way to resist this natural process. Now please calm down. Issei. How do you expect me to calm down when my life is going to be rewritten? Damn it. Move. The lights around Issei suddenly turn blue. Huh? Sophia. What? The light surrounds Issei as it begins to circle around him. Suddenly a dark could consumes Issei and he disappears. Sophia. He is gone. I see, so fate has plans for you, then I won't interfere. Go on then, be reincarnated while keeping your current memories. I'll watch the changes you will bring to the universe. Somewhere on the universe, in a planet where angels, devils, monsters and the abnormal exist, a pair of individuals, a humanoid dragon queen and king, looks over their newborn child, who strangely for them he had strands of brown hair instead of black. King. So what are we going to name our child? Queen. I had a premonition that this child is going to bring great changes to the world. A name came to me, one that caused me to be full of joy and hope, so his name is going to be Issei. 840 years later. Issei paced all over his room. He looked at the mirror beside him. What stared back at him was a man who looked like he was only 22 years old, his brown hair reaching his shoulders, with a body that reached 6'5" tall, with a muscular build and dark green eyes. Issei. It's hard to believe that after all those years I still look young. Guess that means I'm no longer human. He remembers bits of his old life. At first it came to him as dreams. Fights he didn't understood what was happening, places he never been before and people he never seen before. All this started when his body reached a 10-year maturity, but as the years went by everything became clear. Who he really was, why he was here and what he had to do. I feel like I've lived two lives at once, it's so weird. He sits on his bed, but why? No matter how much time passed, there was still a part of his life that remained blur. Sometimes in his dreams he could still feel it like it was real. A red-haired woman who gives him a lap pillow, a black-haired woman who for some strange reason sucked his finger, a blonde-haired girl who slept together with him, a white-haired girl who sat on his lap, a gold-haired girl who from time to time bring him tons of paper to read, and finally a duo of blue-haired girl and chestnut-haired girl who would argue with each other. Issei. No matter how much I try, I can't make out their faces or names. It frustrates me to no end. He stands up and walks over to his window. I wonder, if I go back to that place, will everything finally become clear? He closes his eyes and starts to think. No matter how many kingdoms I saved, how many planets I saved, I still can't shake the feeling that I don't belong here. Why I refused all those marriage arrangements. All those princesses wanting to marry me, but something inside me tells me that I'm already taken. Is it those girls? The ones I can't remember? I won't get an answer that easily. No matter how many planets I visit, I can't find the slightest clue of who they are. There is some knocking on his door. Issei. He turns around. Come in. The door opens and a girl comes in. She has long black hair, dark green eyes, her body has the look of an 18-year-old girl, 5'8" tall. She is Issei's younger sister. Mihoki, the humanoid dragon princess. Issei chuckles at her entrance. Despite being a princess, she never wore those long dresses except for dance balls. Instead, she wore casual clothing from different planets. Mahoki. What's so funny? Pouting. Issei. Nothing. So why did you come here for? Mahoki. Well, your sister gets worried when her brother stays on his room all day. You have been here for 2 straight days. Go outside and get some sun. Issei. Really? I haven't noticed. Stops and looks at her D-cup breasts. Weird, if I remember correctly I was a pervert to no end, so why I'm not exited? Is it because she's my family or something else? Suddenly Issei receives a punch to the face. Issei. Ow. What was that for? Mahoki. You pervert. Looking at your own sister like that. Don't tell me you have an incest fetish. Issei. Idiot. It's not like that. Where you did even learn that word? Did you started reading strange books again? Mahoki. Blushing. I idiot. I'm not like you. I read healthy books. Anyway, let's go outside. The Galaxy Festival is soon and we need to be ready if you're going or not. Issei. The Galaxy Festival? Hush, sure I'll go. I could use the distraction. Mahoki. Great. I'll tell mom about it. She runs off downstairs. Issei. Who knows, maybe I'll find there the answers I seek. The Galaxy Festival, a celebration dedicated to the creation of all reality held by all the species and planets. The story goes that a cosmic being called the Mighty One created all infinite galaxies throughout the universe. Knowing that keeping the balance of such a huge creation will take all of his being, he decided to create a galactic entities known as gods, giving them freedom to do what they please with the galaxy they were assigned. The Mighty One give the gods just one rule. There must always be life, meaning that in at least one planet in all the galaxies throughout space must contain living beings to populate the planet. Whoever this gods were not like the Mighty One, as powerful as they were, they all had physical forms, meaning that unlike the Mighty One they all could die. This was part of the Mighty One plans, because if any of his children abused of their powers, they could die by the hands of their own creations, thus balance was kept. The gods all agreed to the terms gave by their father and began creating planets and live. Others maintained the balance of life and death in the universe, and a few began to live with their creations, creating creeds and religions to held them as omnipotent. Some rule with love, others with fear. But none of them forgot their origin. To them this was a reminder of their birthday and the purpose of their existence. Issei sat amongst the crowd watching the giant hologram display explaining the festival's origins. No matter how many times I see it, I think it's crazy. To think there are more than billions of planets occupied with life, all because one single person felt lonely. The teen talking to himself in amusement. Then a sudden realization came to him, of course. That's it. Galaxies. The reason why I'm drawing blanks here is because I've been searching in the wrong galaxy. But it's crazy, Issei said, sulking on his seat. There must be who many knows galaxies out there. How the hell am I supposed to know which to search for? Something the matter? Said a voice too familiar with Issei. It was his father seating beside him. The Dragon King. Velizov. Unlike his son, his father had long black hair, darker skin. He was a bit shorter than his son. The one thing they had physically in common was the dark green eyes. Hey dad, said Issei, feeling a bit uncomfortable at the use of that word. Now that after all those past memories he knows he has 2 fathers and mothers now, not sure now which of both parents felt more real to him. Is it sane of me to say I want to travel to mysterious galaxies exploring their planets? Velizov went silent for a while. He wanted to tell him that such a thing is dangerous and he should stay here, but he didn't after all the things he experienced. Issei's victories, his defeats, all the friends he made and his desire to keep moving forward, it moved his heart. It would be sad to say goodbye to the only son he had, but just like him, his son had to go and make a life on his own. Sure, go ahead. You are an adult already, you can make choices of your own now. Velizov turns to face his son. Just promise me this, never forget your roots, and no matter where you are we will always be there for you. Issei is shocked at the straightforwardness of his father about a decision he made not 5 seconds ago. You sure about that? Issei said, still not believing the words he heard from his father, who always have been the silent type. Yes, his father said, completely calm. You have shown me that you are capable enough to stand your ground against anything that is thrown your way. Velizov proceeds to stand and begins to walk away from his son, giving him one final advice. Just come home from time to time, or your mother will die from worrying too much. Don't worry, I'll deal with her. Issei stood there in disbelief. Before he only had access to planetary travel, but now he could travel between galaxies. Now the greatest problem starts, where to go. He couldn't go to a random planet all the time. He needed some sort of lead to the place where his heart was so desperately to find. The hologram started up again to tell the story again, and Issei stood up and left the plaza, still thinking what to do. At the end he gave up and returned home to sleep. Issei found himself on an arena of some sort. When he looked at the middle he saw a person wearing crimson-colored armor in front of a familiar woman with crimson hair fighting another person who was clad in golden armor. The crimson-armored person then screamed something. It's the color of the woman I love. But you. Gremory is the woman I love. I want the woman I love to win. I want to protect the woman I love. I want to fight for the woman I love. I. Then everything went black. Issei opens his eyes and finds himself on his bed sweating a bit. Another dream? He said, not sure what to think about it. Placing his hand on his forehead he said, but you? What does it mean? He felt his heart burning with passion as he said that one word that gave him the sliver of hope he needed. Gremory. Not wasting any time, Issei got up from the bed, changed his clothes and teleported to the biggest library his home planet had to offer. He got on one of the multiple plasma monitors and began its search engine. He began with Gremory, and after minutes which lasted an eternity to him the search came out blank. What? Issei said furious, the chance he had was gone. Wait, he suddenly said. Then he proceeded to write but you. Not feeling sure if the search would work or not, he waited for the process to finish. That word felt so familiar to him yet he never had heard it before, it clung to him like it was something he said all the time. Issei Hyoudou or Issei Malafer? Which one is the real me? He said, all of this confused him, the feeling of living two lives at once, each of them feeling as real as the other, but to discover the truth he had to acknowledge both of them. As Issei brainstormed with himself the search stopped and to his surprise, it got a result. Let's see here, Butchu is a term given to the person designated as a club president, commonly used in schools. Issei said reading the information before him. The word is used on 3-star planets. Issei was shocked. A planet that was given 5 stars or less in the galaxy ranking meant that they were so primitive they haven't developed the technology to reach of their galaxy, much less closer planets. He then began to search for possible 3-star planets, but to his surprise only one planet was registered. It went by the name of Earth, and its last investigatory update was given 1,000 years ago. My wonder, as Issei looked at the picture of Earth he felt a strange desire to go there no matter what. I guess this is it. I feel it calling to me, this may really be my home. He stood up, closing the monitor and leaving the library. I guess time really does give one the answer, he said to himself in amusement as he returned home. Issei arrives at his house. He found his sister crossed-armed waiting for him at the entrance, with not a happy look on her face. He knew what was it about, but this time he wasn't sure he'll be able to get away with it. Dad told me you know, Mihoki said with an unpleasant look on her face. Going on another adventure without me, how many times do I have to say it? If you're going on an adventure, take me with you. I'm going to die without anything exciting to do these days. Or is it because you think I can't handle myself? Issei needed to be very careful now. His sister is a very powerful fighter, fit to be called a dragon princess, but her angry fits was one of those things he didn't look forward to. Most of the time whenever he went on a different planet or fought on a war, he was already gone by the time the news reached her. But now he faced another challenge. To try to convince his sister to stay or to take her along with him. Well, said Mihoki impatient while Issei was trying to gather his thoughts. What do you have to say for yourself, mister? Issei took a deep breath. There's no helping it, is there? He thought. Fine, you got me, I'll take you with me. Just promise me you will behave, alright. Issei said, giving up any hope of actually going alone. A smile appears on Mihoki's face. Yay. Now I can discover new clothing styles. Mihoki started dashing towards her room. I swear, is clothes the only thing you think about? Said Issei, still shocked from his sister's lifestyle, but then he remembered his old self, his perverted ambition to form a polygamy and fondle breasts. I guess obsession runs in the family, no matter which one, he said with a melancholy look on his face. The next day both brother and sister headed towards the spaceship docks. It was going to be expensive to pay a ship to travel such long distances. Excuse me, he said, walking towards one of the directory clerks who is a robot. I'm looking for a planet called the Earth. How much will it cost for a ship to travel there? The clerk closed his eyes searching for the information requested, then he opened them and said in a monotone but polite voice, the planet Earth, located in the Milky Way galaxy, is located 2 time and space barriers from our current location. It will cost 20 grand kerners for a ship to take you there. 20 grand, Issei said in disbelief, not because he couldn't pay the price, but because the price was 200 times the cost of a normal travel between planets. Even if the ship has to pass 2 barriers, I think it's a bit too much, said Mihoki, analyzing the travel expenses inside her head. The reason why the fee was set to that amount, it's because the ship has to pass 2 special barriers known as time jump barriers. Simply put, the time progression here and those places is different, the clerk responded, calm as ever. So what you're saying is that 1 year may pass here, but there is completely different. Issei said, surprised. Mihoki, after thinking a while, got worried. But if that is true, then if we leave, what would happen to our current live? Issei looked at her a bit serious. That's a risk I'm willing to take. Mihoki looks at her brother in disbelief, but then softens her expression. I see, these are the choices you usually make, to win or to lose it all. Okay, then I'll go with you until the end. My very first adventure, and I'm not going to back down. Issei smiles at her sister's resolve. It reminded him of someone, but who? The answer will be found on this trip. He thought we will take the trip then, we are ready. Very well then, please wait at dock 8 the clerk said, and then returned to his usual duties. Issei paid the fee and as he walked together with his sister towards the docks he began to ponder. He got the planet and from the word he used before he found that it was Japanese, so he had to go to the country of Japan, but after that what? Search all of Japan's schools. This could be more complicated than he thought. Brother. Mahoki looked at him with a complicated expression. Snapping back to reality he just said nothing as they walked on. The dock was empty probably because they were the only ones that requested such a strange destination. A medium-sized ship anchored and opened its doors. This is it said Issei as he got on, for now he had to abandon everything in his quest to discover his true self. His new friends, his riches, and his glory. To Issei he felt that all of these things just waited for him at the end of his journey so to him, it didn't really felt like a permanent farewell. Issei got on and checked the navigation board. The ship had to make several stops for possible repairs, energy refuel and safety checks. This is going to take a while, but it's understandable for a ship this size he said closing the board and laying down using a few seats like a bed. I'm still kind of nervous about this Mahoki said looking outside the window. Understandable, Issei thought, it was her first time outside her own planet and not only that, she got to travel to a whole new galaxy. If it makes you feel any better said Issei closing his eyes for a nap. Just think of the clothes you will get to wear when we get there his sister looked at him with an unpleasant face. You really think I have such a straightforward mind, don't you? Whatever said Issei as he drifted off to sleep again. Issei found himself on a church. Next to the altar he saw an angel with black wings staring down on a boy that looked like him. He was crying over the body of a girl with blonde hair. What? Issei said on shock. He knew he was on a dream, but everything felt so real to him, especially the feeling he got from looking at the angel with black wings, but his trance was cut off at the scream of the boy. Hey God? You are there right, God. Devils and angels exist, so you do exist as well, right, God? You were watching, right? You were watching all of this, right? The boy just keeps screaming at the ceiling, as if God himself was listening to him. Please don't take this girl away. Please. I beg you. She hasn't done anything. She just wanted a friend. I will be her friend forever. So please. I want this girl to smile forever. Hey please. God. Issei felt the anger and sadness coming from the words from the boy. He felt his heart beating furiously with anger as the boy just kept screaming. Did this happen because I turned into a devil? Did you abandon her because I'm a devil and her friend? The boy just kept screaming at the unfairness of the world. Issei just stood there. Confused, angry and saddened. If this was really a dream, why did it felt so real? Then it hit him, this isn't a dream, it was a memory, a very painful one. Then the strangest thing happened, the boy got up and summoned a red metal glove from his left arm, it begins to shine and change its shape. Give her back. The boy shouted at the black angel as he charged at her, power filling his body. Brother. A voice snaps him awake, he looks around and finds himself on the ship, he sighs relieved that he wasn't in that place anymore as he sat straight. Mahoki just looked at him with a worried face. Did you have a nightmare? She asked clearly concerned for his health. Yeah, but I'm okay now Issei said, it was better to tell her it was a nightmare than to try to explain to her everything he was going through. Issei just turned his head and looked out his window to see the countless stars around him, staring off into the space itself he thought, another painful memory, I wonder. Just what kind of life awaits for me on that planet? I'm walking down a hallway but you. I heard someone called behind me, I turned to the voice, how many times do I have to tell you? You can call me by my first name said the girl in front of me to a guy that looked like Fistier. Sorry, it came out naturally the young boy said with a smile. I quickly turned away from that scene, that smile it reminds me of him. No I said as I walked away from there, I swore to myself that I won't reminisce on the past any longer, because I know that once I do, I'll break again. I've been trying so hard now I won't stop now, as much as I wish to go back I can't. Rias someone calls out to me, it's Akeno my queen, she looks at me with worried eyes where have you been? It's time to go, you suddenly stormed off somewhere I try to calm down sorry, I just had a lot on my mind I started to walk with her towards the building's exit. It's alright, we all do Akeno just says that and walks with me, but I know that just like me she's dealing with the loss on her own way, we all are after that day none of us smiled anymore, that day 5 years ago. We exit the building and I turn my head towards it, Ku University, we are all here one by one the members of the Occult Research Club graduated and moved here. One of my dreams fulfilled, but now it's just empty, at first I did it so I can stay more on my beloved Japan, but after that day not even this brought me joy. Ria senpai. Asia cheerfully called out to me on the gate, such a kind girl she waited for me. I'm sorry Asia, did you had to wait long? I said with a bit on regret on my voice. Asia my bishop I have to protect her now, ever since that day she's been crying every night, she really did care for him. No. I just got here. Asia said, but I know, she gets out early so for her to be waiting for us all this time. Let's go home, I said as we all walked towards that house, the house of my dreams where I could spend days without worrying, but now I'm sometimes afraid to even enter. To me it became a reminder of my weakness and naive decision that day. If I had stayed, could I have changed the outcome? I'll never get the answer to that question. As we enter the house I hear welcome home Ria senpai, it's Kaneko, she's sitting on the sofa with her usual face. I really admire her after that day, she and Hyoudou little by little, but the group back together, they are so strong. I'm back, I said as I walked upstairs. Himejima Keno watched as my master and best friend went upstairs. No matter how much she tries to hide it, it's clear that she thinks about that day every time. From that day forwards everything went from bad to worse. After performing the Dragon Gate ritual what came out was 8 pieces of pawn. We didn't understood this phenomenon at the moment, but a few words from Azazel, we realized the horrible truth in front of us. I remember how my world went dark, not once I'm able to smile from my heart as a whole was ripped out of it that day. Then the artificial monsters created by the Sacred Gear Annihilation Maker attacked the underworld capitals. A few were destroyed, but at the end we managed to destroy them. Then it came Ravel's kidnapping from the magicians working with the Cows Brigade. We went to rescue her only face a horror at the end, an evil dragon called Grendel. Most evil dragons were supposed to be dead, but there he was. It was a difficult battle, but we managed to escape alive and with Ravel. Later came the trouble with the vampires with their rebellion. We found out that the ones pulling the string behind the incident were the Cows Brigade again, but this time their aim was a sacred gear called the Holy Grail capable of reviving the dead according to legend. It was the aim of the Cows Brigade to use it to revive all the evil dragons, and they succeeded. Later came the incident with Roswis as the Cows Brigade tried to recruit her for her research about the Trahixa. After a long battle against them, and the evil dragon Saji Sona's pawn awakened to his balance breaker and finally drove them back. So much has happened since that day, it makes me wonder, if he was here, how much would things changed? I stand on the kitchen to prepare dinner. Thinking about it won't change anything, which was something I used to say to convince myself, but now I use it as a drive to move forward every day. But one thing saddens me, no matter how much time has passed ever since that day, we don't say his name. No, it's more like we can't, because we all know that the moment we do all of our work, our will and our resolution will break and disappear. Maybe we'll never get over it. They say that time heals all wounds, but to us, even if an eternity were to pass by, we'll still feel the same heartbroken. Taoju Kaneko sighed on the couch as I watched Akeno senpai cook dinner. She doesn't radiate that happy and safe feeling she used to have whenever she cooked, of course not. After that day everyone lost something inside. That idiot of a senpai, he died the day I was brave enough to confess to him my feelings and propose to him, but he said something as stupid as if you have both your oppai and height grow bigger. I will be happy. But I have to admit I was happy. He actually saw me as a woman on that moment. That's why I promised myself that I would become a woman that matched senpai's ideals, but now it's all for nothing, he's not here anymore, so there's no point. I continued my training with Ni-sama and became very used to my Nekomata powers, but no matter how strong I get, I'll never become as strong as senpai. What are you sulking about now? Because if it's about the pudding I said I was sorry already. I looked at the person who said that. It's Ravel. I don't want apologies from a grilled chicken princess to my comment. Ravels puts an unpleasant face this Nekomata. She says she really hates it, but that doesn't stop me. I'm surprised that a bird brain like you remembers how to use a fridge, I said. This girl really doesn't give up, she really changed. She's not the same girl who cried every day after that day. That's it. Ravel shouts, I'm going to give you a lesson today. I stand from the couch glaring at her. Asia Argento sighed on my bed as I heard my two friends Kaneko and Ravel argue from the living room. It's great that they are getting along again, I said as I remember all the arguments they had so far for trivial stuff. A tear rolls down my cheek. Ever since that awful day, my sacred gear twilight healing hasn't worked to its full potential. People say it's due to shock, but how can I not be shocked? My first friend, the person I respect and love, is gone from this world. I don't know how much I can endure before I break down again. I wish I could go to your side, but if I do you'll be disappointed. I fall down the bed as I fell asleep, mustering all my strength for this one sentence. Isn't that right, Issei? Floating in front of him with a dead look on his eyes. But Issei couldn't finish because multiple voices started to come out his mouth like an incantation. Who is about to awaken? It started. Looks like it will start. I'm the heavenly dragon that has stolen the principles of domination from God. It was always like that, no matter what. That's not right, it was like that every time. I laugh at the infinite and I grieve at the dream, the one the world seeks. The one the world rejects. I shall become the red dragon of domination. It was always power. It was always love. Issei just stood there dumbfounded as each of these words felt heavy on his heart. It was like he knew them, but he had never heard them before. When the boy finished he began to transform, his armor changing its shape. Issei knew what it looked like, a berserk dragon, Issei said, paralyzed by such a monster, not because he was scared, but because it looked too familiar to him. As he battle unfolded, Issei stood there watching all the powers this new creature had, but one thing he couldn't understand is that he knew all the names of the attacks this creature launched even before the creature summoned them. Then it finally hit him. "This boy is me," Issei said, shocked by his sudden discovery, but before he could say anything more, all faded to darkness. "Brother, we are here, get up." Mihoki shook Issei as he was sleeping all the ride. "You lazy pants. Hurry and set the teleport destination." Fine, Issei said as he got up and opened the control panel. He felt a bit sad. If he had slept just a bit more, what more could he have discovered? Issei set the teleport device to Japan, then he took 2 pills out of the traveling kit. "Here, it's for Earth's language." Issei gave 1 pill to his sister. Coming to a new planet, it was important to know all the possible languages it possesses, and the pill will help with the trip. "I don't want it tastes bitter," his sister denied it. "Don't be like that, this thing is important," Issei said. He didn't need his sister complicating the trip as it is. "I'll buy you something later to wash off your mouth," he told her. "Fine, but it better be sweet." With a final demand, Mihoki took the pill and swallowed it. "Bleh," she protested. Issei swallowed it and put the emergency bracelets on. The last thing he wanted to be is stranded. "You ready?" Issei asked. "Let's go." Mihoki responded, and with a blue flash both of them teleported to the planet Belatham. Earth. Thousands of miles across Japan on Ku University. Ria's Gremory attended classes like usual. To a pure devil like her, it could be considered easy, all these material, but most of the time her thought drifted off. Sometimes she didn't think of anything at all, others it was about the Cows Brigade and her fury against them. As classes finished, she has a call via magic circle. It was a report about the Cows Brigade. They had a factory near her location, but no data about the factory could be found. She reunited her servants for a mission briefing. They would attack at night, and they will count with Sona's servants as backup. Ria's Akeno said, "Are you sure you can do this? You have been acting distant these few days." Akeno had clear worries for her master and friend. The last thing she wanted was another death on the group's record. "Thank you, Akeno, but I'm fine," said Ria's a bit displeased. She knew why Akeno asked her that, but she tries her best not to think about him. "I wonder why did this factory just appeared out of nowhere? I mean for them to find it now," said Zenobia, one of the group's knights. "She's right. This must be a trap of some sort for them to make us go there," commented Roswis, one of the group's rook. "Trap or not, it is our duty as the Gremory group to protect a piece of this town from terrorists like them," Ria said, standing up from her seat. "Let us go, Sona's peerage must be waiting for us." In front of the factory, everyone has gathered. "All right, everyone will watch the premises as you back up the Gremory group." Sona started giving orders to her servants as the spread out. "Everything is ready, Rias. A barrier has been lifted to prevent serious damage affect the city, but powerful blast will still be felt by them as earthquakes, so please keep that in mind." "I understand and thank you," Sona Rias said as she walked towards the factory's entrance. "Everyone be prepared for anything," she said as she opened the door of the front entrance, just to be greeted by 24 of stray magicians. "Intruders." The magicians screamed as they got into position to fight the invading forces. "Everyone. Let's show them what happens when they mess with the Gremory group." Rias ordered as everyone got ready to battle. Hundreds of miles from there on a river, Issei and his sister walked towards the shore. "Water, this stupid thing dropped us on water. We could have drowned." Issei protested as he shook some of the water from his hair. "If someone did a better job at calibrating coordinates, this could have been avoided," Mihoki said with a displeased tone as she looked at herself. "Damn it, all that makeup wasted because of a stupid brother. Yeah, I still don't get why you girls even bother to put such a stupid thing on," Issei said as he sat on a large rock nearby. "Waste of time if you ask me." "Oh come on. Don't you have any sense of beauty or fashion?" Mihoki said, unable to believe her brother's stupidity and denseness. "No," Issei admitted on the spot. He never really had thought of such things ever since the visions, memories and strange dreams. "Well, enough of that," he said before his sister could protest. "Time to go to a store and get new clothes." "Your pick, dear sister." Issei really care for such things, but he needed his sister to be occupied before he could start investigating. "About time," Mihoki said, a bit exited. "Time to try the sense of fashion this planet has." As they walked towards the nearest populated city, they found the civilization to be a bit more advanced than they originally thought. After asking around, they found the city's mega store. Being on winter season, the store has specials on sets of clothing. After hours of waiting, thanks to Mihoki's stubbornness to buy every single piece of clothing, they finally decided on the clothes they were going to get. They paid for it using euros because Issei researched that those coins were the highest form of payment on the planet and got out of the store. "Oh brother. I researched that for a place to live one should always look for hotels on this planet," Mihoki said with excitement. "Oh? They have those here as well?" "All right," Issei said, a bit surprised. Between always living on palaces, this could be a nice change of scenery. After much debating they settle on a hotel near the megastore just to please Mihoki. They settled in to explore the room and find what is everything used for, but much to their surprise, everything in that room worked almost the same as their home planet. Maybe this planet has more than it lets on, Issei said, surprised by almost everything. Then near their location, they could feel a change on the atmosphere. Magic? Mihoki said, surprised. This planet has mana particles on the air? How come I've never felt it until now? Mihoki was in shock. This feeling, it's a barrier, but for what? Issei said while looking out of the apartment's window. This could mean trouble, he said, unsure of what to do next. Inside the factory, Rias and her servant clear waves and waves of enemies as they reach deep inside the factory. At the end they found another elevator. This looks like the last one, Kaneko said using her Nekomata sensor skills. Alright, let's go everyone, Rias said as her and her servants got inside and activated the elevator to go down. When they arrived at the bottom floor, they got out of the elevator and stood paralyzed. All of them stood there, many things rushed through their heads. Confusion, fear, regret, anger, and they saw what laid before them. 100. 200. Even they didn't know, but what paralyzed them was not the number but the fact that each one of these things was Issei. Rias asked, shaking all of these people with the balance break form of Issei, the heavenly red emperor dragon, but something felt off. None of them spoke, they just stood there radiating the same aura as the real emperor dragon. How do you like our little surprise, Rias? Let me tell you, it was not easy, but after many experiments we finally managed to create it, an army on sCurse. When they looked for the owner of the voices they found Rizavam Lucifer floating above them. He did this how? Rias asked, she couldn't contain her feelings anymore. Anger, regret, sadness, misery, it was all coming back to her. Well, let's just say we learned from that little cat of yours, Rizavam said, almost laughing. What? What do you mean? Kaneko said, trembling. Well, you see, during your battle with Grendel, you used a jewel from the hacker Hyoudou to seal his soul, so he couldn't be revived by the Holy Grail. So we decided to do the same thing with Drake's soul. That's impossible. His soul is supposed to be transferred to another human after death. Akeno said, clearly angry. That's true, Rizavam said, but that doesn't mean we can't find that new human and kill him for his soul. Rizavam could barely contain his excitement. We had to sacrifice lots of dragons, but at the end we got it. Fully capable balance break armors that will listen to our commands and has the power of the real deal. Rias fell to the ground, this was too much for her. No matter how much she tried to forget, the world would find a way to make her remember again, and this time it will hunt her for the rest of her life. Now that's a reaction I wanted to see, Rizavam said, amused, but time is short and it's time to try these new toys out. Rizavam proceeds to activate a magic circle. Attention all toys. Destroy the enemy in front of you. The armors released their energy and summoned 2 shoulder cannons, charging them to full power. Time to die. Fire. Rizavam said, excited. Everyone activated barriers and defensive magic circles to protect themselves, but everything was destroyed by the dragon shots. What's this? You're still alive. That's no good. Rizavam activated his magic circle again, ready for round 2. Fire. Rias closed her eyes, she couldn't take it anymore, her guilt was killing her, and she would rather die than to live feeling like this forever. However, she felt nothing. Did I die? She thought. Hey. Are you alright? A voice called out to her. She slowly opened her eyes and the first thing she saw shocked her. It was Ascalon, a sword. She thought it was lost. This person who protected her used the sword to shield everyone. Finally she saw the face of this person, she began to tremble as tears rolled down her eyes, and with a shaking voice she asked Issei. End of the here. So that's it for today's video, guys. Before you go, just like the video and share it with your friends.